Hi guys, welcome to my booktube channel. My name's Solony and you're watching Tea Time with Tea Reads. Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to Tea Time with Tea Reads. And today I'm going to be speaking about two books that I've read this year and I really enjoyed. One more than the other, but overall I did really like both books. One I loved, one I liked, let's just say that. So the first book is The Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. I do not own Crazy Rich Asians in its physical form, which is why I'm holding up the second book in the series, China Rich Girlfriend. And the other book I read this year is Carve by Veronica Roth. I'll just give you the ratings real quick. So Crazy Rich Asians, I gave a 5 out of 5 stars, and this second book, which I'd read both books in a day actually, in the space of 2 days, I gave this 5 stars. No, I gave this 4 stars, and the first book, Crazy Rich Asians, which I'm talking about today, 5 stars. Off the mark, I gave 3.5 stars, so it will be 4 stars on Goodreads, but it's actually 3.5 stars. Of the Mark by Veronica Roth. I enjoyed it much more than I thought I was going to enjoy it, and I'm really excited to talk to you guys. So let's do a quick summary for all you non-spoilery people. So Carve the Mark, we follow two perspectives. We follow Akos and Syrah. Akos is from Thuve. I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, and Syrah is from the Shotet land, the land of Blair. She's Shotet, let's just say that. The Shotet are depicted as being really like savage and brutal, merciless people, like conquerors. They just want to steal all the land, where the people from Thuve are depicted as quite peaceful, and you know, they're very orderly. They have loads of etiquette and decorum, but there's more to them that meets the eye. Akos is actually kidnapped by the Shotet, and this girl Syrah, one of the Shotet, her brother is the leader of the Shotet, and he is the one that arranges for Akos and his brother Eje to be kidnapped. And that's kind of where the story goes. We follow Akos and Syrah on their perspective journeys. Akos' life after being kidnapped, Syrah basically being the sister of we follow Syrah being basically the brother of a tyrant, and where it leads them, how it impacts her life, his life, the things they have to endure and go through. I think this book is about, to be honest, change. No matter what you've done, no matter the mistakes you've made, you can always change and have a positive impact. And that I also think this book shows you that the people around us can have such impacts on our lives, good and bad, you know. But yeah, so if you are non-spoilery, now exit, because I'm going to be spoiling some stuff and I don't want to be held responsible if you haven't read the book. So bye. Okay, hello my lovely spoilery people. So the first thing I'm going to talk about may come, like, it may sound weird to some of you, but I really love that Veronica Roth like put this in, and I don't know if it was her intention or not, but I love it so much. So let's talk about Sifa. Sifa is Akos's mother. Now, one thing I think as a society we do is, as mothers, I've got my trusty notepad here, as mothers, we don't expect women to be anything other than mothers. And what I mean is, I think we seem to forget that we've believed that mothers' lives should revolve wholly around their children. Some may think to a certain extent that that is true. However, me personally, I think that mothers should be allowed to pursue passions, their dreams and their heart's desires, you know, outside the sphere of being mothers. Yes, their children's lives should be up there with like important things in their lives, but they should be allowed to have lives outside of motherhood. Like, Sifa is not just a mother. Sifa is a warrior. Sifa is a leader. Sifa is a servant of fate. On page 412, Sifa says, "I am a servant of fate. I do not have the luxury of partiality." And what Sifa means is, I think she's either talking to Akos or Syrah, and they've confronted her like, yo, like, what you doing? Like, basically, what, you tricked me, like, or why couldn't you give me a heads up, mum? Like, you know, I was going to be kidnapped. Like, you're moving a bit mad. What Sifa is saying is, listen, I know I'm your mum, yeah, I love you, but I have other responsibilities. And in this case, I thought my responsibilities took precedence over being your mother. Yes, it's controversial. Yes, you may think it's debatable, but I could understand where Sifa is coming from. In this particular case, I didn't agree with it because some of the things Akos had to endure and Sarah was like, it's kind of unforgivable. Even she tricks Akos into killing the man. Don't remember his name because he's irrelevant, but she tricks Akos into killing the man who killed her husband. So she sees alternate versions of the future, and she chose that particular one just to exact revenge on the man that killed her husband. Is it right? No. Can I understand? Yes. And yeah, I just really love that Sifa is presented as not just a mother, but she has various other jobs outside of being a mother. And the next thing I love is Syrah and Akos' relationship. I don't like books wholly based on romance, and I think this book, there were other things happening apart from this romance. The reason I think I enjoyed it so much is because my favourite trope in YA has to be, hands down, the like hate to love trope. If you know what I mean. Like, I find it really fascinating how someone can go from like, I hate you, like if you died and I saw your corpse, I would laugh, like ha ha ha, at a dead body, like, to you're my world, I would die for you. That's basically what happens in Carve Them Up, and I find it so cute. Like, that's my favorite trope. I do think though, however, this book was dragging, and what I mean by, I think it took so long for any action to happen. I don't think anything really happened until like well over 200 pages in. That's bloody ridiculous. Like, to me, in my opinion, I thought they were just traveling the planet, talking about all these things they're gonna do, like take over the world and do this and do that, but they weren't actually doing it. I don't think anything actually happened until, you know, when Syrah changes her power, because she realizes that that power is based on what she perceives about herself and how she thinks other people deserve to be treated. So she changes her power in order to save Akos, and like Akos wakes up and Thiva is like, where's Syrah? That's when I think things started to go down. I feel it was taking so long to get anywhere. Like, we're just going on sojourns, going to different planets. Yeah, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, we're training, okay. You know, we're making hush flower slushies or whatever potions, but nothing's really going down. That was disappointing. Zek, her brother, he's a tyrant. He's a tyrant. He's so wicked. The first time Syrah was forced to kill someone was when she was 10 years old. The way Thuve was talking about these Shotet, you just think they're brutal. You think they're completely wicked. However, on page 123, it discusses how the Shotet are actually deprived of their basic needs, like medicine, like food. And I'm not talking about, you know, the high class elite Shotet. I'm talking about people from poorer families. We have no real exports and hardly enough natural resources to sustain ourselves independently. He says aid falls into the wrong hands and it is distributed based on status rather than need. Syrah is saying this to Akos, and Akos replies, oh, I've never thought of it that way before. So are the Shotet really savage? They've been deprived of food and medicine. Their planet it can hardly just sustain them. There's no crops, there's no medicine. They have to import these things illegally. Like, tell me, is that really a savage people? Or are they just trying to get what they deserve? These are basic human needs. And yes, maybe the way they are going about it is debatable, but I do not think they're savage. I think Ryzek is savage. I think he's brutal. But as for them as a people as a whole, no, I do not think so. And there's even some like stories going on in the book, like the Shotet actually owned the land and the Thuve people actually came and took over, and I believe it. You know, it was the land of the Native Indians, the Native Americans, and then Columbus comes over and goes, hey, what a lovely land you have here. And what happens? He invades. Not an invasion like the way we know, but he comes in, he takes the land for himself, and he gets all the glory. Need I say more? It's basically the same thing. I don't know. So I can understand why they're angry, and yes, I can understand why they're upset. But kidnapping little 8-year-old boys and killing people is not the way to go about things. You have to be diplomatic. You have to. But then we'd have no book. But still, do you know what I mean? So yes, that's one of the things I observed and I thought was really interesting, because many of the Fuve people don't seem to see it from the way Syrah has blatantly described it. And it's true, when we're going through the streets of, you know, this Shotet land, we can see that people are deprived. They're selling like bloody beads to make money. I really did like the dynamics between Yima and Syrah. I mean, Syrah killed her husband, then she killed her daughter, then she tricked her into giving Ryzek what Yima thought was a poison, but actually ended up being a sleeping draught, so that Syrah could save Ryzek to save Edge, who's the brother of Akos, and Syrah loves Akos. And I liked Jorek. I thought he was tricking Akos, but it ends up he wanted to save his mother from his father's brutality. He beats up his mum, and he wanted his mother out of that situation. I also liked, I've forgotten her name. I don't think this book is racist. There was lots of controversy going on. I will not be able to coherently explain why this book isn't racist, but if you know Francesca Simone, she gives an excellent articulate explanation as to why she doesn't believe the book is racist. I'll link it down below. It's bloody brilliant, and I agree 100% with everything she was saying. There's representation in the book for marginalized / minorities. So there's a lesbian couple, Cece and Issei. There are brown people, there are white people, yeah, they're even, you could say, it discusses self-harm and depression, and I think it deals with some important issues. I think it had lots of potential. There were things I didn't enjoy about the book. I'm not even going to get into, because I'm not trying to put myself into an annoyed mood. But yeah, that's my review for Carve. The next book I want to speak about that I loved, Crazy Rich Asians. Like I said, I do not own the physical copy of Crazy Rich Asians, hence why I am using the second book in this series to talk about it. But I will leave a cover for Crazy Rich Asians here. So Crazy Rich Asians is exactly what you think it is. It is a book about crazy rich Asians. These people have so much money. I actually found out about this book because it was one of Squibb Read's favourite books of 2017, and I now believe it's going to be on my list of favourite reads of 2018. Crazy Rich Asians follows a lot of different perspectives, and at first it's like really overwhelming, but you'll get over it so quickly. You become so invested in these characters. They are so funny, they're so lovable. Yes, they could annoy you at times, some of the characters' actions, some of them are obnoxious, but you really do begin to love them so much. Crazy Rich Asians made me laugh out loud. Like, usually when I'm reading, yes, I'll smile, maybe a little tee, but this one, like, I laughed from within my diaphragm. Like, it was so funny. I bought the next book the day I finished the first one, Crazy Rich Asians. I bought China Rich Girlfriend. I adored it so much. It's so hilarious. I highly recommend it. 5 out of 5 stars. It even deals with issues I didn't think it was going to go into, because it's like Crazy Rich Asians, the series is basically like a satire on all the rich elite families of Asia, but it addressed like prejudices and like tribal, I don't know if you would call it tribalism, but I'm just gonna say like tribalism, and like addresses some issues that are really important. It taught me some stuff. I gained quite a bit of knowledge that I wouldn't have gained if I hadn't read this book. I'm not Asian, so I cannot speak from that perspective, but for me as an outsider, I think it gave me a good inside look on how like they view on tribalism, and how status is such a big thing, because where I'm from, Nigeria as well, status as well, and like your family name is so important as well. Like, connections are everything, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the book. And yeah, there's a movie coming out as well. I'm really excited for it. I could go on and on and on about Crazy Rich Asians, but I don't even want this to be too long. I'm probably going to do a full review on all the books once I finished it. I've ordered it. It's coming tomorrow. The last book, Rich People Problems. So I'll probably do a full review extensively. But that is it for Tea Time with T Reads. I hope you enjoyed these reviews, guys. Comment down below any videos you want me to do, or if you've read any of these books. I highly recommend Crazy Rich Asians. And yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for watching. It's been Tolani, and you've been watching Tea Time with T Reads.